Do you understand how you shook all the fans and how well you've played early on here this year?
Yeah, I guess like like when I signed the Nets, I guess like people didn't really expect me to play this much. Even like I wasn't expecting because I came in this training camp with a non-guarantee. So my goal was to make a team. So yeah, I guess like no one expected, right?
Well, when I spoke to people up in Toronto, they immediately brought you up. Like they wanted to know, how is Utah doing? How we knew he was going to do this. They really liked you up in Toronto, and I think they're happy to see you now, but they wish you were doing it with the Raptors.
Yeah, I mean, that's good to know that, I love Toronto too. I spent 2 years. My first year was in Tampa, because of the COVID.
Yeah.
But last year I was in Toronto. I love the city. I love the team, teammates, organization, everything. So, I enjoyed the time in Toronto.
I would imagine Toronto, Toronto's a very, it's got a different feel than it's similar to the United States cities, but it's got a little more of an international feel. Did you kind of feel at home a little bit more in Toronto than maybe your other stop? Because previously, I think you said Tampa and Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto's much different.
Yeah. I definitely felt that, and I was really surprised. Like there were so many Japanese in Toronto, and there are so many like Japanese restaurants that were really good. So yeah, I definitely felt like a home there.
I talked to Daisuke, Daisuke, the reporter from Japan, and he was saying how in New York he can't really find anything that is the same in restaurants as home. In Toronto, did you find the food and did you find places that you could go where they were authentic?
Yeah. I definitely found some good Japanese restaurant that I always go.
Did that make you feel a little more at home?
Yeah. Like I said, like the people work there were like I would say like 90% were Japanese. So they asked me like what to get in Japanese, and we were talking in Japanese, and the food was really good. So yeah, I definitely felt like that was
And were those people must have been very proud to see you, and because I would imagine they knew who you were and what you represent.
Yeah. So like first few times I went to a restaurant, like I guess Japanese people are like a little bit more shy than Americans, so like we didn't really talk. I like they like later on they told me like they were a little bit scared of me because but then like when I started talking to them, like like we became friends, and like we talked a lot of stuff, so that was good.
I'm going to get to your time in Brooklyn and your professional career. Let's now use an opportunity to go back to the beginning for you growing up in Yokohama, Japan. What was it like? Is that the area?
Yeah, Yokohama is actually where I was born.
Okay.
And I moved to it's called the place Kagawa when I was 2 or 3 years old, and that's where I actually grew up.
What kind of a place is that? Is it a city environment? Is it a rural environment? What was it like?
Yeah, I mean, so the Yokohama, where I was born, that's a big city. It's near Tokyo, a lot of stuff going on. But the Kagawa, that's like countryside, lot of mountains, rivers, near the ocean. So I grew up in a lot of nature.
So because a lot of times kids start playing basketball in urban environments in big cities where there's a lot of cement and there's a lot of playgrounds. How did you come to start playing basketball?
So like my both parents used to play basketball in Japan, and then so I mean that's why like I started playing basketball.
So it was in your blood already.
Yeah,
basketball.
Yeah. Like I didn't.
So you started playing at a very young age.
Mm-hmm. I think that was when I was 6 years old, I think, and I didn't even think about to play any other sports. I just, straight to basketball.
Was it like, did you play for your school and things like that? Did they have, I don't know the system there. I know here in the United States, a lot of kids start playing in their schools or in a rec league. Did you start playing in leagues when you were young at that age?
Yeah, I mean, not for school, but the area that we stayed had a little basketball team, basketball team. And my mom was a coach there, actually. So when I was even younger, like when I was 4 or 5 years old, I often go to see the practice with my mom. And then like when I became 6, I started playing.
Your mom, Kumi? Is how you pronounce it? Mm-hmm. She was on the national team, correct?
Yeah, right.
And did your dad was a professional as well, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you, so were you always taller than a lot of the kids in your age group?
Not really. Especially when I was in like elementary school or junior high school. I was a little bit taller than average, but I wasn't that high. So like my parents were like really tall as a Japanese, but like I wasn't like really like getting taller. So like they were like, they said like they were worried about it.
They thought you might have to try another sport. Yeah. Maybe they thought. Did you play any other sports growing up?
No, only basketball.
Only basketball. Because I know baseball and soccer are very popular. Because sometimes guys that get taller later, the guys that are in the NBA that were really tall forever, they become those just overpowering, get the ball down low, score. When you're not that big early on, or you hit a late growth spurt, sometimes you develop more of those guard skills. That the dribbling and the shooting. Is that what went on with you when you were younger?
Yeah. So I was actually playing guard because I wasn't that tall. So I think that definitely helped. Like I'm 6'9" now, but I still can dribble a little bit. I can shoot, pass. So that definitely helped.
Siblings? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have an older sister, and she used to play the league in Japan too.
So this is a family affair. Everybody's been playing basketball.
Yep.
Because of your parents, were there those connections to the U.S.? Is that how you ended up coming to the United States?
Yeah. So my dad's friend was a good friend of Coach Quinn, who is
Jerry Quinn. Yeah, it's St. Thomas More Prep in Connecticut, which is where you came in. Jerry's been there for 4 decades, I guess, right? He's a legend. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, I mean, that's how I got connected to St. Thomas More.
Okay.
And I played there for 1 year. And then I got recruited by George Washington and played for 4 years.
The decision to come, so you finished high school in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Were you excited about that? Were you nervous about that? What was your first thoughts on coming to the United States to play?
Yeah, I was really excited. But one thing I was really worrying about was like English, definitely, because like I couldn't speak like any English at that time.
Really?
Yeah.
So you learned when you came to the United States?
Mm-hmm. Well, in school, we had English classes, but, so we learned some words, some grammars, but we never like talk in English. So like, I didn't really know about the English. So yeah, that was
Did you come with, were you with anyone when you came?
No, I was by myself.
By yourself, right? So how old are you now? You're I guess 17, 18?
Yeah, I think I was 18.
Wow. Just by yourself, come to Connecticut. Were there any other known players on that team at St. Thomas More with you?
Yeah,
Anybody went on to play college, NBA?
Yeah, I played with Eric Pascal.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's from he's from my area in Westchester, and and I do know he ended up going. He started at Fordham, which I know that's where I went to school. So did you think about going to Fordham?
Yeah, I got recruited by Fordham too. So my last two choices was either Fordham or GW.
Tom Pecora, was he the coach there that time?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, how come you didn't come to the Bronx?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Fordham, amazing school. I like the coach, but it was a tough decision though.
I hear you. And they weren't very good in the Atlantic 10. They're getting better now. By the way, as we're taping this, they're 8-1 this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're doing well. But Eric Pascal ended up transferred to Villanova and won national championships. So that was pretty cool. So he's still. I guess he was a teammate of yours. What was it attracted you to go to George Washington?
Well, I liked the DC when I visited there. And at that time, they had like 4 or 5 international players. So I felt really comfortable, going there as an international guy. They know how to take care of international guys, stuff like that. So I felt like really comfortable going there.
And Washington D.C. obviously is very international, and there's a lot of different people there represented. I know even the cherry blossoms are only there because of the Japanese, who was a gift from your country. So how long were you homesick when you first came away?
I guess I wasn't really trying not to think about it, because I knew when I started thinking about it, then I knew I'm gonna become homesick, because I definitely miss my parents, miss my friends, miss Japanese food, stuff like that. So I was just trying not to think about it, and just I try to live in the moment.
Yeah, that's very good advice for anybody, and that's how you get through tough times. Live in that moment, and obviously it worked out for you very well. Your time at George Washington, you probably developed. I know physically you developed, even reading some of the things from your time there. Defense is what stood out. You were A-10 Defensive Player of the Year one year. Where did that develop in your mind? Did you know defense was going to be your path to the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, so when I was in Japan, I wasn't really good defender actually, because I guess I was, because I was just in high school, I was just taller than everybody, so I was blocking shots and stuff. But and then when I came to United States, I realized okay, I'm not the tallest guy anymore, so I gotta do a better job on sliding, stuff like that. So definitely I was really working hard. Even, in Japan, but then when I came to US, I had to do even harder.
How much did you follow the NBA game when you were in Japan? When you were a kid growing up, were you exposed to it a lot? Was there a team you liked? Were there people that inspired you to maybe come to the NBA? Just thinking of when that NBA dream kind of started for you.
I think that was when I was 7 or 8 years old. I knew my dad was always watching the basketball game when I was a kid. And one time, I sat down with him and I asked him, Dad, what are you watching? And he said, oh, this is the NBA, the best league in the world. And I think that was, I forgot, that was a Lakers game against somebody. I forgot who was that. But then, I watched Kobe Bryant, and I was wow, I want to be like this guy. I want to be an NBA player like him. So that's the first time, and I started dreaming NBA.
Wow, so 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
You start thinking about that. And I guess because your family, your parents had played, it was something that, basketball was a big part of it. And it was probably hard to follow the NBA, right? Because those games were on very late at night, right?
Yeah, so I obviously we couldn't watch it live.
Yeah. But you would be able to see it the next day or something?
Right.
Okay. So was Kobe a big was playing at that time?
Yep.
Big influence. Was Shaq on that team yet, or was he out?
So, yeah, he was still on the team.
So would you go to emulate go out to the gym and try and do the things that Kobe would do? Were you?
Oh yeah. I did a lot of like fadeaways and stuff. I tried, but it didn't work out for me. But
did you ever have a chance to meet him before he passed?
Nah.
Oh, you didn't?
Unfortunately, no.
Wow. So you're at George Washington, and you're the first Japanese-born player to earn a Division I scholarship. Even before Rui Hachimura. Did you know Rui in Japan?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sorry. I met him when he was still in high school, and I was sophomore in college, I think.
Hmm.
So yeah, I know him since he was a kid. He was like high school.
Did he seek guidance from you coming? He's younger. Did he often reach out to you, and did you have a relationship when he came to the United States?
Yeah, I mean, so like when I met him first time, he already he told me that he already decided to go to college in US. So yeah, I gave him some advices, and something like he should do while he's in Japan, and stuff like that.
And he chose to go to Gonzaga, which is all the way out in the Pacific Northwest, but obviously closer to home for him. I'm sure that made it a little easier for him. Your breakout game this year, I thought, you'd played well, but that game in Washington, and Rui played in that game. Had you gone against him in your previous stops in Memphis and Toronto? Had you gotten a chance to both be playing and going against one another?
Yeah, that wasn't the first time we actually played against each other, but I would say that was the first time. I was actually a rotation guy. I mean, he's been playing a lot of minutes, so it was always me. Like when I was in Memphis, I played for like 4 or 5 minutes. But I guess that was because
but in that game in Washington earlier this season, there were many times where you guys were matched up with one another, and like you said, you're in the rotation, he was in the rotation. I know the last time they played here and when they came to Brooklyn, he was hurt, he didn't play. But that must have been cool though to be going against him and knowing that you're playing a role, and the Nets were winning that game pretty handily too.
That was really fun. I really enjoyed that game.
Your time now in Brooklyn. You mentioned that you were just hoping to make the team, and now suddenly you're involved there. I know there was that 2-game stretch. There was the game in Washington, and then the very next night against Charlotte. It was right after the coaching change. You guys are starting to kind of, Kyrie was out, so you guys were trying to, it was Kevin Durant, and Kevin was very energized. And I remember that game against Charlotte. You're playing with the closing lineup. You're there at the end of the game. Kevin hit you with a couple of passes in the corner. Your corner three, which is, I think you're like 16 for 21 this year from the corner, which is amazing, which is unbelievable. And after the game, Jacques Vaughn said, "Yuta, have you met Kevin?" Like you guys, he implying that you guys didn't even really know each other. I guess though, and I thought that was odd, but at the same time, I guess you probably hadn't had a lot of time to interact, right? At that point?
I mean,
you knew each other, but you didn't spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, like I thought he meant like he meant something like, have I met K before this season? Yeah. And obviously, like I have played against him, but like we never really sat down, talked and like talking to each other. So like, I said no, but it's really feeling good that he can trust me on the court. So it's great.
Yeah. You have to earn that trust with him. What are some things that he seems to be very vocal with you? What are some of the things that he has shared with you to try and help you?
Well, he just keeps telling me to shoot with confidence, and like someone like KD tell me to shoot, then I gotta shoot. So, I mean, he's just giving me some great advices.
And he's such a great passer.
Right.
You know, people
right.
don't think about that with him, but he always seems to make the right basketball play.
Yeah.
And you just have to be in the right spot.
Yeah, I mean, that's why he's one of the best players in the history. So
when you take the floor and when you first jumped into rotation here, and you weren't a rotation player when they gave you an opportunity to play, what are the things in your mind? Is it I have to make a three? Are you putting pressure on yourself there? Is it just defend? What are kind of the things that are going through your mind when you're first getting on the floor and thinking, all right, I want to stay here?
I guess I gotta start with the defense, you know, because I don't play defense, obviously. I don't get minute. So start with the defense, play with energy, just work hard, be smart. And, you know, shooting sometimes like it's not gonna fall every time. So, but like KD always tell me just shoot with the confidence when I'm open. So that's a few things that was in my mind.
How about adjusting to the way the Nets play defensively and the scheme? Was that an adjustment for you? Did you take to that right away? What do you feel is it makes it your strengths seem to play into that scheme?
Yeah, I think you know, one of my strengths is that I can guard multiple positions, and you know, we've been switching, we've been using switching a lot lately. So
Sure.
I guess that's definitely helped me because like I can play one, like I can play four. Sometimes I've been playing five, so yeah, so that defensive scheme really helping me right now.
Your time in Brooklyn off the court, have you had much time to explore? Have you spent a lot of time in New York City and in Brooklyn?
Not a lot, but I mean, you know, I don't. Besides coming to a practice facility or arena, I don't really go outside. You know, I'm a guy who just
You're a
stay in my
homebody.
room. Yeah,
They like to say.
Yeah,
Now go ahead.
No, I just like to chill in my room. So, but yeah,
all right.
So, yeah.
Now, you got married though back in May. Akiko,
yeah,
who I met at the Barclays Center 10th anniversary event. She was a television presenter in Japan.
Right.
Is she still looking to do that stuff?
No, not anymore.
Retiring?
Yeah.
Okay. When did she come to the United States? Where did you meet her?
Well, I met her when she was still doing her job, and she interviewed me like back in like 2019 or something.
Oh, okay. So she was here. She was living in the United States.
Now, yes. She's in US now.
Oh, at the time, was she in Japan?
At the time, I went back to Japan in the summertime, and she was in Japan. And she never came to US till like this May or something. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So so she now obviously when you're on the road, you're playing. I mean, she's home. Does she have support? Does she have people in that she knows here in Brooklyn and New York City?
Well, she knows a few people, but she just always, you know, by herself going like Manhattan or like just exploring.
Yeah.
So
more so than you. You like to stay home. She likes to get out.
Yeah. So
that's good though.
She loves enjoying the time in Brooklyn.
That's right. It always takes balance, right? In a husband and wife, there's got to be a little balance.
Yeah.
Do you get home a lot during the off season? Are you able to go home to Japan?
Yeah. I go home for maybe a couple of weeks.
How has it changed now when you go back for you in the way people see you and approach you?
Yeah. So I can't really go outside, you know, because a lot of people recognize me. But you know, it's good. It's great though. You know, when I walk in the street, people always come to say hi, like asking a picture, autograph, stuff like that. So I really appreciate those support.
And meanwhile, in the United States and in New York, you could probably walk around and you're anonymous. I mean, people really don't know, right? I mean, you may get recognized now a little bit in Brooklyn, but was it shocking for you when you went back to see how? Did it give you a sense of how important your playing in the NBA maybe was to people in Japan?
Yeah, definitely. Also like, just because I'm like super tall as Japanese,
you stand out a little bit.
Yeah, like people in Japan, like people look at me like what is going on? Like, like they don't. I think like people who don't know me, like even like staring at me, like what is this guy doing? So.
Does that make it easier for you to be in the United States where you kind of don't stand out as much?
Yeah.
There's other tall people.
Right. And people don't really stare at me. No,
well, you
like
realize
Japan.
people, especially in New York, they're not really that taken back by celebrities or anybody. People in New York are kind of like, whatever.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care about me, so it's good.
Well, they care, but they don't show it. Do you get how do you get a sense though? Is it important in Japan? Like you're one of only 3 guys that have ever played in the NBA from the country. That must be a very gratifying feeling for you and a sense of pride for you.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm really proud of what I've been doing right now with Rui. Because when I was growing up, like I said, there was only one Japanese, Yuta Watanabe, played in the league. So it was almost like people think like it's impossible for Japanese to make it to the league. But now, I think a lot of kids in Japan watching me and Rui play in the league. So I just want them to, feel like it's possible to make it to the league.
I know you went to visit a high school in Brooklyn for Japanese students, and you played some basketball with them. You walked in, and I remember you said something like you didn't know if they were going to even know who you were. Yet they went crazy when they saw you. So that must have, when you saw that must have really kind of put it in perspective for you a little bit.
Yeah. And, they were like really crazy, like when they see me. And so that was, I had an amazing time, just playing basketball.
Yeah. You were taking some of those kids to the hole, I saw. You weren't being shy. You weren't being shy. You talked about Japanese people being shy and kind of reserved. You show your emotion on the court. You're pumping your fists. You're flexing a little bit. You do the 3 to the dome like Carmelo a little bit. Is that, were you always like that? Is that something that playing in the United States maybe brought that out of you? Are you an emotional type person?
I guess I was even like when I was in Japan, but it definitely, I'm doing definitely more than when I was in Japan though.
Did your teammates used to try in college? They used to tell you needed to do a little more.
Yeah. One of my teammates, when I was a freshman, one of my teammates told me that, like, when you make shots, like, you gotta show more, like, emotion, like, cause, I'm a quiet guy, especially off court. I don't really, I think I'm a shy guy, but on the court, like, I can't be shy, so.
But it's got to be natural. I mean, you're not. I see you get excited after you make a 3. That's something that's in you, and it's good to have that outlet, right? I always feel like I'm the same way. I'm very soft spoken when I'm around people sometimes and everything. But when I'm on doing a game, I'm excited and I'm yelling and I'm Watanabe from 3, it's good, and I'm going crazy. It's like that's my chance to kind of let it out. You feel like that on the court is your chance to kind of let that emotion out for you a little bit? Yeah.
And I mean, I don't even think about it,
Yeah, exactly.
Let my body or let my emotion go. So, it's been good.
And I saw you coming out of the building one day. You didn't even have a car. You rode up in the elevator for the cars with your wife, and you just walked out. And there were all these kids that were standing around, and they had Watanabe jerseys that they wanted you to sign, and you stopped and you signed for them. That must have been a nice moment for you.
Yeah,
to see that.
I mean, I always really appreciate fans showing the support. So every time I see my jersey, I gotta sign them.
And if they're waiting outside with those jerseys, man, yeah, right. You're gonna do it, and it's and it's great that they're so welcoming to you, and we hope it goes on. Now, I just have one thing I want to end this with. I like to end it, all the people on the show here, to get a little insight into them personally. I refer to this speech that was made many years ago by a college coach named Jim Valvano. I don't know if you know, Jim Valvano was a coach at NC State, and they won a championship, famous buzzer beater shot, and he ran around the court like crazy looking for somebody to hug, and he ended up getting cancer, and he was at the ESPYs, and they now have the Jimmy V Fund, which raises money for cancer research. But he gave this very famous speech at the ESPYs about never give up. You may have seen it at some point. And he said to live a full life, everyone should do 3 things every day. One is laugh. One is cry, whether happy or sad, moved emotionally. And the other is think. Spend some time in deep thought. He said, if you could do those 3 things, you can live a great life every day. So I like to ask my subjects. So Yuta Watanabe, what or who or something, what makes you laugh? What's the kind of thing that makes you laugh?
Comedy, I think.
Like a movie? Show. You have a favorite comedy movie?
Well, movie, I don't know, but I mean, I always watch Japanese comedy shows, so it's
some of those Japanese. I've seen some of the Japanese talk shows that are like the primetime talk shows. They're crazy, right? A lot of stuff going on.
And I always
love that stuff.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, like the Jimmy Kimmel of Japan, like. They just do outrageous. There's like 70 people on stage. There's a million things going on. They get I've seen American actors go on there and they're asking them all kinds of crazy questions, right? It's wild. The other part, emotionally, I don't know if you're a crier. I don't know. I know I could watch a commercial on TV and I can get a little worked up. Is there something that moves you to tears, whether happy or sad? Or maybe recently that you've seen?
Cry.
Maybe you're not a crier. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me think.
When you went back home, when you see your parents, things like that, did that make you emotional? Or when you leave? Because I know you end up leaving for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't cry, but definitely.
Well, not so much the tears, just feel the emotion.
I definitely like especially like when I leave, and like I always notice that my dad really is showing his emotion, but like my mom is always, I know like she's always put a smile on her face. But I can tell inside, like she's gonna miss me and stuff like that. So yeah, like when I leave, yeah.
Did they come to the United States to see you play?
Not recently though, because of the COVID. But they said they already booked a flight for the February. So
awesome.
I'm gonna see them in like 2 months.
Oh, that's great. The think part of this, there's that video board outside the arena, the Oculus, they call it, the circular video board. And everyone who's coming through the subway, coming up or coming into the arena, thousands of people get to see what's on that board. If you could put a message there for people to make them something they want to think about, something you'd like to express to as many people as you possibly could, Yuta Watanabe, what do you think that might be?
Okay, so can you?
So like, it's something that you would like people to think about. Maybe it's a phrase, maybe something that stayed with you in your journey to the NBA that you would want other people to know and to think about. What was something you would put up on that message board?
I guess I'm gonna just like ask them like, are you happy? Because I've been through like a lot of tough situations. I've been through like a lot of stuff, but I'm always a happy guy, and just being happy makes me happy. So
yeah, and if you're not, why not?
Yeah,
and make those changes.
Mm-hmm.
Life's too short, right?
Right.
Enjoy it.
Just be happy. If you're not happy, find happiness.
We've had a lot of people have answered this question, and I don't think anything's just more poignant or better than that. Yuta, I really appreciate you doing this. Best of luck to you getting back out on the floor, and I'm happy you did this, and I thank you so much.
Yeah,
and good luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it. Thank you.